In one household connected to Sheryl Ruthven's religious community, more than 40 cats had to be fed and their litter boxes cleaned before the children could start their morning. The cats came through Eva's Eden, a nonprofit rescue run by people in Ruthven's group. From the outside, it looked like a small organization doing exactly what a cat rescue is supposed to do: take animals from shelters, care for them, and find them homes. Inside the group, the cats meant something else. People who later left said they were sacred animals with a role in the coming apocalypse. Taking one into your home could count as an act of faith. Refusing one could count as disobedience to God. To understand how a real rescue got there, we have to go back to before the cats. In the late 1990s, Sheryl Ruthven became an influential figure at a small Pentecostal congregation in Bellingham, Washington. People came to her for personal prophecies, messages they believed came directly from God. Former members said she had a way of making those messages feel intensely personal, as though she could see straight into the private parts of their lives. After a church split, many congregants followed Ruthven into a new ministry called Freedom Fire. Before long, her approval meant more than encouragement. People who later left said staying in Ruthven's favor began to feel connected to staying in God's favor. Losing it could mean humiliation, banishment, or being cut off from the community. For some, the cost was their family. One follower, Michelle Lamphere, reportedly obeyed Ruthven when her teenage daughter, Shaylin, was pushed out of the family. Michelle later spoke about the shame of choosing Ruthven's authority over her own child. By the time cats entered the picture, Ruthven had already shown that she could reach into a person's home and rearrange the relationships inside it. The group's beliefs kept changing too. Former members remembered Pentecostal Christianity, mixed with Jewish holidays, Buddhist meditation, healing crystals, Egyptian spirituality, Greek mythology, and apocalyptic prophecy. At one point, they worshipped inside a renovated former Masonic hall. Ruthven's role expanded, along with the theology. Former members said she went from preacher to prophet to a figure associated with Mary Magdalene and the creation of a new Eden. Most religions take centuries to accumulate this many symbols. Ruthven appears to have moved through the catalog considerably faster. Whatever the new revelation was, Ruthven remained the person who explained what it meant and told everyone what came next. Then her cat died. Her name was Eva. Ruthven later connected Eva's death with Egyptian ideas about cats, souls, and passage between worlds. The chronology here is unclear. What we can document is that Eva's Eden received federal nonprofit status in 2004, and that Ruthven later tied Eva's death to the rescue's spiritual purpose. Now, the group had something new, a sacred creature available at almost any animal shelter. Grieving a cat is completely ordinary. Connecting that grief to an apocalyptic rescue mission is a less common direction. But it gave the group something they could actually do every day. They could go to shelters. They could collect unwanted cats. They could care for sick animals, place them in homes, and know that something was alive because they had intervened. Eva's Eden really did this work. Members took in cats facing euthanasia and brought them to public adoption events. One adopter later remembered healthy animals and kind volunteers. Even people who eventually spoke out against Ruthven agreed that the rescue saved cats that might otherwise have died. That's what makes this whole situation so difficult to untangle. A fake charity would give us a much cleaner explanation. One dishonest person exploiting cat lovers. Eva's Eden wasn't that clean. Ruthven's followers could look around and see living proof that their effort mattered, which made taking in the next cat much harder to refuse. People who later left said Ruthven began pushing households to accept more animals. Volunteers might be expected to leave work or family obligations to collect them. Some homes reportedly held more than 40 cats. She was also said to compare households. A family with more cats could be held up as more committed. Saying no because the house was full or there simply wasn't enough time could be framed as selfishness or spiritual failure. And everyone already knew what might happen when someone disappointed Ruthven. They had seen people humiliated, banished, and separated from those they loved. So a family might take one more cat, then another, then discover that another household had taken even more and was being praised for it. There always seemed to be room for one more, at least in Ruthven's version of the house. And each cat carried all that pressure for a reason. Former members said Ruthven connected the animals to the 144,000 saved souls named in the Book of Revelation. The cats were described as sacred vessels, capable of carrying or protecting souls through the end of the world. A reported email from 2013 described Eva's Eden as a temple and told followers to approach the cats with awe. That changes what a crowded home means. A cat isn't simply another animal requiring food, medical care, and a litter box. It may be carrying one of the souls chosen to survive the apocalypse. Once that belief exists, already having 40 cats starts to sound like a very small objection. The next request was bigger than another carrier. Around 2013, Ruthven directed followers to move from Washington to Tennessee. Former members called the move an exodus. They said the group expected society to collapse and wanted land where they could live more independently when it did. Members were reportedly told to hide where they were going. The cover story was that Ruthven had retired to Scotland. Most animal rescues do not require a cover story involving retirement in Scotland. Eva's Eden reopened in Tennessee with adoption events, volunteers, and an air-conditioned mobile trailer that worked as a cat playground on wheels. To someone walking past it outside a store, the organization looked exactly like what it claimed to be: a cheerful rescue with kittens available for adoption. Its logo was a silhouette of Bastet, the Egyptian cat goddess. To most people, that probably looked like ordinary cat rescue branding. The theology was hiding in plain sight. By then, the kittens were probably the least unusual part of the operation. In 2016, a reporter from the Nashville Scene began asking questions about the religious group behind the rescue. The website and social accounts for Eva's Eden disappeared. A scheduled adoption event was canceled. Representatives said they were being harassed and that critics were spreading lies about people who only wanted to save cats. The accusations went beyond religious pressure and overcrowded homes. Former members also alleged financial exploitation and a plot against Ruthven's ex-husband. Those claims are less firmly documented than the group's religious practices and rescue work, and Ruthven supporters denied the broader accusations. Former members said the demands had already spilled into their jobs, their families, and homes filled with animals. The cats kept being rescued. The people doing the rescuing were losing control over where their obligation ended. By then, Eva's Eden had become part of a much larger system of coercive control. So why keep saying yes? Because Ruthven's authority came first. Before the temple, before the 144,000 souls, before houses filled with cats. They had already accepted Ruthven as the person who could tell them what God wanted. When she gave spiritual meaning to Eva, to animal rescue, and eventually to the number of cats inside a home, each new demand grew out of something they already trusted. And every new demand still looked compassionate. Save this animal. Give it somewhere safe to live. Take one more. So back to that household with more than 40 cats. The cats ate first because caring for them had become a test the family couldn't safely fail. Ruthven's authority could now overrule their own judgment about their home, their children, and what they could realistically handle. What I can't stop thinking about is how ordinary the first step looked. Nobody joins a church expecting to end up with 40 cats and an apocalypse. They were simply asked to keep doing something good, long after saying no had stopped being an option. Still curious? Choose another strange thing before the sack opens. Like and subscribe.